Welcome, listeners, to our podcast on the use cases of generative AI for legal research, litigation, and compliance management for companies. I'm thrilled to dive into this cutting-edge topic with you today.
Absolutely. We're about to explore how generative AI is revolutionizing the legal industry, particularly for corporate legal departments. It's an exciting field with far-reaching implications.
That's right. Generative AI, powered by large language models, is transforming how legal professionals conduct research, manage litigation, and ensure compliance. It's not just a buzzword, it's a game changer.
Indeed. And today we'll be examining specific applications, benefits, and potential challenges of implementing these AI tools in corporate legal settings. It's a complex topic with a lot to unpack.
Speaking of applications, shall we start with how generative AI is reshaping legal research? It's one of the most immediate and impactful use cases we're seeing.
Absolutely. Legal research has traditionally been a time-consuming process, but generative AI is streamlining it significantly. These tools can quickly analyze vast amounts of legal documents, cases, and statutes.
That's fascinating. Can you give an example of how this might work in practice?
Sure. Imagine a corporate lawyer needs to research recent case law and data privacy. Instead of spending hours manually searching through databases, they could use a generative AI tool to quickly identify relevant cases, summarize key points, and even suggest potential arguments.
That's incredibly efficient. It must be a huge time saver for legal teams.
Definitely. And it's not just about speed. These AI tools can also uncover connections or precedents that a human researcher might miss, potentially leading to more comprehensive and innovative legal strategies.
That's a great point. It seems like generative AI could really enhance the quality of legal research, not just the efficiency. But I wonder, are there any potential drawbacks or challenges to using AI in this context?
Well, one concern is the potential for AI to misinterpret complex legal language or miss nuances that a human expert would catch. There's also the issue of bias in AI systems, which could lead to skewed research results.
Those are valid concerns. I suppose it underscores the importance of human oversight in the process. AI should be seen as a tool to augment human expertise, not replace it entirely.
Exactly. It's about finding the right balance between leveraging AI capabilities and maintaining human judgment and ethical considerations. Speaking of which, how do you think generative AI is impacting litigation management?
When it comes to litigation management, generative AI is making significant strides. It's transforming how legal teams handle large volumes of case-related documents and streamline their workflow.
Absolutely. One of the key applications is in e-discovery, where AI can quickly sift through millions of documents to identify relevant information for a case. This not only saves time, but can also uncover crucial evidence that might have been overlooked.
That's impressive. I imagine it's particularly useful for companies dealing with complex litigation involving vast amounts of data. Can you give us a specific example of how this might work in practice?
Certainly. Let's say a multinational corporation is facing a patent infringement lawsuit. The legal team could use generative AI to analyze years of internal communications, technical documents, and patent filings across multiple countries and languages.
That sounds like it would be an enormous task for a human team to handle manually.
Exactly. The AI could quickly identify relevant documents, highlight potential risks, and even suggest defense strategies based on similar past cases. This allows the legal team to focus their efforts on strategy and argumentation rather than document review.
I can see how that would be a game changer for corporate legal departments. But what about the actual litigation process? Is generative AI playing a role there as well?
Indeed, it is. AI is being used to predict case outcomes, estimate settlement values, and even draft legal briefs. For instance, by analyzing historical case data, AI can help lawyers make more informed decisions about whether to settle or proceed to trial.
That's fascinating. It seems like it could really help companies manage their litigation risk more effectively. Are there any potential drawbacks or ethical considerations we should be aware of?
Good question. One concern is the potential for over-reliance on AI predictions, which could lead to overlooking unique factors in a case. There's also the issue of explainability. If an AI recommends a particular strategy, can it explain its reasoning in a way that satisfies legal and ethical standards?
Those are important points to consider. It sounds like, as with legal research, human oversight and judgment remain crucial in litigation management.
Absolutely. The goal is to use AI as a powerful tool to augment human expertise, not replace it. Speaking of which, shall we move on to discuss how generative AI is impacting compliance management for companies?
Absolutely. Let's dive into compliance management. It's an area where generative AI is making significant strides, particularly for companies dealing with complex regulatory environments.
That's right. Compliance management can be a daunting task, especially for multinational corporations that need to navigate various regulatory frameworks across different jurisdictions.
I can imagine. So, how exactly is generative AI helping in this domain?
Well, one of the key applications is in real-time monitoring and analysis of regulatory changes. AI systems can continuously scan and interpret new regulations, alerting compliance teams to relevant updates almost instantly.
That sounds incredibly useful. Can you give us a specific example of how this might work in practice?
Certainly. Let's say a global financial institution needs to stay compliant with anti-money laundering (AML) regulations across multiple countries. A generative AI system could monitor regulatory changes in real time, flag potential compliance issues, and even suggest necessary policy updates.
That's impressive. It must significantly reduce the risk of non-compliance due to overlooked regulatory changes.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just monitoring. These AI systems can also help in creating and updating compliance policies, ensuring they're aligned with the latest regulations.
I see. But compliance isn't just about policies, right? How does AI help with actual implementation and enforcement?
Great point. Generative AI is also being used to analyze internal company data to identify potential compliance risks. For instance, it can flag unusual transaction patterns that might indicate fraud or other compliance issues.
That sounds like it could be a game changer for risk management. Are there any other applications we should be aware of?
Absolutely. Another exciting application is in employee training. AI can generate personalized compliance training modules based on an employee's role, location, and specific compliance risks they might encounter.
That's fascinating. It seems like it can make compliance training much more effective and relevant. But I have to ask, are there any potential drawbacks or challenges to using AI in compliance management?
Well, one concern is the potential for false positives, where AI systems flag compliant activities as potential violations. This could lead to unnecessary investigations and resource strain.
That's a valid point. I suppose it underscores the need for human oversight in interpreting AI outputs. Are there any other challenges?
Another issue is data privacy. To be effective, these AI systems need access to vast amounts of company data, which raises concerns about data security and employee privacy.
That's an excellent point about data privacy. It seems like companies need to carefully balance the benefits of AI-powered compliance management with their data protection obligations.
Absolutely. It's crucial for companies to implement robust data governance frameworks when deploying these AI systems. But despite these challenges, the potential benefits are substantial.
I can see that. The ability to stay on top of regulatory changes and proactively identify compliance risks could be invaluable for many companies. Do you think this technology is mainly benefiting large corporations, or are smaller companies able to leverage it as well?
That's a great question. While large corporations were early adopters due to the initial costs and complexity, we're now seeing more accessible AI solutions that cater to smaller businesses as well.
That's encouraging. It could really level the playing field in terms of compliance capabilities. Speaking of which, how do you think AI-powered compliance management is impacting the role of compliance officers?
Well, it's certainly changing the nature of their work. Rather than spending most of their time on manual document review and policy updates, compliance officers can now focus more on strategic decision-making and risk management.
That makes sense. It seems like AI is augmenting their capabilities rather than replacing them. Do you think this shift requires new skills or training for compliance professionals?
Definitely. There's an increasing need for compliance officers to have a good understanding of AI and data analytics. They need to be able to interpret AI outputs and understand their limitations.
I can see how that would be important. On a broader scale, how do you think AI-powered compliance management is affecting companies' overall risk profiles?
Generally, it's helping companies to be more proactive in their approach to compliance. Instead of reacting to regulatory changes or compliance breaches, they can anticipate and prevent issues before they occur.
That's a significant shift. It could potentially reduce the risk of costly compliance failures and regulatory penalties. Are there any specific industries that are particularly benefiting from this technology?
Financial services and healthcare are two industries that come to mind. They operate in highly regulated environments and deal with sensitive data, making them prime candidates for AI-powered compliance solutions.
That makes sense. These industries often face complex and rapidly changing regulatory landscapes. Before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts on the future of AI and compliance management?
I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible. As AI technology continues to advance, we'll likely see even more sophisticated applications in areas like predictive compliance and real-time risk assessment.
Now that we've explored AI's impact on legal research, litigation, and compliance management, let's shift our focus to another crucial area: contract analysis and management. This is where generative AI is really making waves in the legal industry.
Absolutely. Contract analysis and management have traditionally been time-consuming tasks, often requiring meticulous attention to detail. Generative AI is revolutionizing this process, making it faster and more accurate.
That's fascinating. Can you give us an example of how AI is being used in contract analysis?
Certainly. One of the most impressive applications is in due diligence during mergers and acquisitions. AI can analyze thousands of contracts at lightning speed, identifying key clauses, potential risks, and inconsistencies.
That sounds incredibly efficient. How does this compare to traditional methods?
While traditionally a team of lawyers would spend weeks or even months reviewing these contracts manually. With AI, this process can be completed in a fraction of the time, significantly speeding up the due diligence process.
I can see how that would be a game changer for MA deals. Are there any specific elements that AI is particularly good at identifying in contracts?
Absolutely. AI excels at flagging change of control provisions, non-compete clauses, and other critical terms that might affect a deal. It can also identify inconsistencies across multiple contracts, which is crucial for large-scale transactions.
That's impressive. It seems like this could not only save time, but also reduce the risk of human error. Are there any other areas where AI is being applied in contract management?
Definitely. Another key application is in contract creation and negotiation. AI can draft standard contracts, suggest language based on company policies, and even predict potential areas of negotiation based on historical data.
That sounds like it could streamline the entire contract lifecycle. But I have to ask, are there any potential drawbacks or challenges to using AI in contract analysis and management?
Good question. One concern is the potential for over-reliance on AI. While these tools are incredibly powerful, they're not infallible. There's still a need for human oversight to catch nuances or contexts that AI might miss.
That's a valid point. It seems like, as with other areas we've discussed, the key is to use AI as a tool to augment human expertise rather than replace it entirely.
Exactly. Another challenge is ensuring that the AI is trained on up-to-date legal information and company-specific requirements. Regular updates and customization are crucial for maintaining accuracy.
I can see how that would be important. On a broader scale, how do you think AI-powered contract management is impacting legal departments and law firms?
It's really transforming the way they work. Legal professionals can now focus more on strategic tasks and complex negotiations, rather than getting bogged down in routine contract review. This shift is leading to more efficient use of legal expertise.
Now that we've covered contract analysis and management, let's shift our focus to another fascinating application of generative AI in the legal field: improving legal writing and drafting.
Absolutely. This is an area where AI is making significant strides, offering valuable assistance to lawyers in creating various legal documents.
That's intriguing. Can you elaborate on how generative AI is being used in legal writing and drafting?
Certainly. One of the primary applications is in creating first drafts of legal documents. AI can generate initial versions of contracts, briefs, and other legal papers based on specific inputs and requirements.
That sounds like it could be a real time saver. How does this process typically work?
Well, lawyers input key parameters and requirements, and the AI generates a draft based on its training on similar documents. For instance, a law firm could use AI to produce a standard non-disclosure agreement, which lawyers can then customize for specific client needs.
I see. So it's not about replacing lawyers, but rather giving them a head start on the drafting process?
Exactly. Human oversight remains crucial. The AI provides a foundation, but legal professionals still need to review, refine, and tailor the documents to ensure they meet specific client needs and legal standards.
That makes sense. Are there any particular types of legal documents where AI is proving especially useful?
Definitely. AI is particularly helpful for routine documents like standard contracts, cease and desist letters, or even initial drafts of patent applications. It can ensure consistency across documents and help maintain a uniform style within a firm or legal department.
That's impressive. But I have to ask, are there any potential drawbacks or challenges to using AI in legal writing?
Good question. One concern is the risk of over-reliance on AI-generated content. There's always the possibility that the AI might miss nuances or context-specific details that a human lawyer would catch.
That's a valid point. It seems like maintaining a balance between AI assistance and human expertise is crucial.
Absolutely. Another challenge is ensuring that the AI is trained on up-to-date legal information and precedents. The law is constantly evolving, so regular updates to the AI's knowledge base are essential.
I can see how that would be important. On a broader scale, how do you think AI-assisted legal writing is impacting the legal profession?
It's really changing the nature of legal work. Lawyers can now focus more on high-level strategy, complex legal analysis, and client interaction, rather than spending hours on routine drafting tasks.
That sounds like a significant shift. Do you think this is changing the skills that new lawyers need to develop?
Definitely. While strong writing skills are still crucial, there's an increasing need for lawyers to understand how to effectively use and oversee AI tools. They need to know how to input the right parameters and critically review AI-generated content.
Now that we've covered various aspects of generative AI in legal practice, let's focus on how it's enhancing legal strategy and decision-making. This is a crucial area where AI is making significant strides.
Absolutely. Generative AI is becoming an invaluable tool for legal strategy, particularly in corporate legal departments. It's changing the way lawyers approach complex legal issues and make critical decisions.
That's fascinating. Can you give us an example of how AI is being used in this context?
Certainly. One key application is in predictive analytics for litigation outcomes. By analyzing vast amounts of historical case data, AI can provide insights into the likelihood of success for different legal strategies.
That sounds incredibly useful. How might this work in practice?
Well, imagine a company is considering whether to pursue a patent infringement case. An AI system could analyze similar cases in the industry, taking into account factors like the specific technologies involved, the jurisdiction, and even the judge's past rulings.
I see. So it's not just about predicting outcomes, but also about informing the overall legal strategy?
Exactly. The AI could provide insights on the potential duration of the case, likely costs, and even suggest optimal settlement ranges based on historical data. This helps legal teams make more informed decisions about whether to litigate or seek a settlement.
That's impressive. Are there other areas where AI is enhancing legal strategy?
Definitely. Another key application is in risk assessment and compliance strategy. AI can analyze a company's operations across different jurisdictions and identify potential legal risks before they become issues.
That sounds like it could be a game changer for proactive legal management. But I have to ask, are there any potential drawbacks or challenges to using AI in legal strategy?
Good question. One concern is the risk of over-relying on AI predictions without considering unique factors in a case. Every legal situation has its nuances that may not be captured in historical data.
That's a valid point. It seems like human judgment is still crucial in interpreting and applying AI insights.
Absolutely. Another challenge is ensuring the AI's predictions are based on up-to-date and relevant data. The legal landscapes can change quickly, so regular updates to the AI's knowledge base are essential.
I can see how that would be important. On a broader scale, how do you think AI enhanced legal strategy is impacting corporate legal departments?
It's really transforming their role within organizations. Legal departments can now provide more strategic value, offering data-driven insights that inform business decisions beyond just legal compliance. Speaking of which, this shift towards more strategic roles for legal departments ties into our next topic, how AI is improving client service and communication in the legal field. Shall we explore that?
Absolutely. Let's dive into how AI is enhancing client service and communication in the legal industry. This is a crucial aspect that can significantly impact client satisfaction and overall efficiency.
You're right. Generative AI is revolutionizing how legal professionals interact with their clients, providing more responsive and personalized services. One of the most notable applications is the use of AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants.
That's interesting. How exactly are these chatbots being used in legal contexts?
Well, these AI-powered tools can provide 24/7 support, answering basic legal questions and providing updates on case status. For instance, a law firm could implement an AI chatbot to handle initial client inquiries, schedule appointments, and provide basic information about legal processes.
That sounds incredibly convenient for clients. I imagine it must free up a lot of time for lawyers to focus on more complex tasks.
Exactly. It's not just about efficiency, though. These AI tools can also enhance the quality of client communication. For example, they can ensure consistent messaging across all client interactions and provide quick, accurate responses to common queries.
I can see how that would be valuable. Are there any other ways AI is being used to improve client service?
Absolutely. Another fascinating application is in creating personalized client portals. AI can analyze a client's case history and provide tailored updates, relevant legal resources, and even predictive insights about their case.
That's impressive. It seems like it could really enhance transparency and keep clients more informed throughout the legal process.
Definitely. And it goes beyond just information sharing. AI can also help in managing client expectations by providing more accurate timelines and cost estimates based on historical data from similar cases.
That's a great point. Managing expectations is crucial for client satisfaction. But I have to ask, are there any potential drawbacks or challenges to using AI in client communication?
Good question. One concern is the potential loss of the personal touch in client relationships. While AI can handle many routine interactions, it's important to maintain human connection for more sensitive or complex matters.
That makes sense. I suppose it's about finding the right balance between AI efficiency and human empathy.
Exactly. Another challenge is ensuring that the AI systems are compliant with client confidentiality and data protection regulations. Law firms need to be very careful about how they handle and store client information when using these AI tools.
That's a crucial point. Legal confidentiality is paramount. How are firms addressing these concerns?
Many are implementing strict data governance policies and using secure, encrypted systems for their AI applications. Some are also opting for on-premises AI solutions rather than cloud-based ones to maintain greater control over client data.
Now that we've explored various applications of generative AI in the legal field, let's delve into the challenges and ethical considerations surrounding its use. This is a crucial aspect that legal professionals need to grapple with as AI adoption grows.
Absolutely. While the benefits of generative AI in legal applications are significant, there are indeed important challenges and ethical issues to consider. One of the primary concerns is data privacy.
That's a critical point. Can you elaborate on how data privacy becomes an issue with these AI systems?
Certainly, AI models require vast amounts of data to function effectively. In the legal context, this often includes sensitive client information, case details, and confidential corporate data. There's a risk that this data could be compromised or misused if not properly protected.
I can see how that would be a major concern for law firms and corporate legal departments. Are there any specific measures being taken to address this?
Many organizations are implementing stringent data protection protocols, including encryption, access controls, and regular security audits. Some are also opting for on-premises AI solutions rather than cloud-based ones to maintain greater control over their data.
That's reassuring. What about the potential for bias in AI algorithms? I imagine that could be a significant issue in legal applications.
You're absolutely right. Bias in AI is a major concern, especially in the legal field where fairness and equity are paramount. If an AI system is trained on historical legal data, it might perpetuate existing biases in the legal system.
That's troubling. Can you give an example of how this might manifest in practice?
Sure. For instance, if an AI system used for predicting sentencing outcomes is trained on historical data that reflects racial disparities in sentencing, it could recommend harsher sentences for certain racial groups, perpetuating systemic bias.
That's a serious issue. How are developers and legal professionals addressing this problem?
It's an ongoing challenge, but there are efforts to develop more diverse and representative training datasets, implement bias detection algorithms, and ensure human oversight in decision-making processes. Transparency in AI systems is also crucial to identifying and mitigating bias.
Speaking of human oversight, that brings up another question. How do we ensure that there's appropriate human involvement in AI-assisted legal processes?
That's a great point. The need for human oversight is critical. While AI can process vast amounts of information quickly, it lacks the nuanced understanding and ethical judgment that human legal professionals possess.
Absolutely. So how are legal teams balancing AI capabilities with human expertise?
Many are adopting a human-in-the-loop approach, where AI assists in tasks like document review or legal research, but key decisions are always made or verified by human lawyers. This helps leverage AI's efficiency while maintaining the critical thinking and ethical considerations that human lawyers bring to the table.
That seems like a sensible approach. Are there any other ethical considerations we should be aware of?
Another important issue is the question of liability. If an AI makes a mistake in legal research or drafting, who is responsible? The developer of the AI system, the law firm using it, or the individual lawyer overseeing its use?
That's a complex question. Has there been any legal precedent set for this yet?
It's still a developing area of law. Some argue that lawyers using AI tools should be held to the same standard of care as they would be when performing tasks manually. Others suggest that AI developers should bear some responsibility for errors in their systems.
It sounds like there's still a lot of uncertainty in this area. Do you think we'll see more regulation around the use of AI in legal practice in the future?
It's highly likely. As AI becomes more prevalent in the legal field, we'll probably see more guidelines and regulations emerge to address these ethical and liability issues. Professional bodies and bar associations are already starting to develop ethical guidelines for AI use in law.
That's encouraging. It seems like the legal profession is taking these challenges seriously. Before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts on the ethical considerations of AI in law?
I think the key takeaway is that while AI offers tremendous benefits to the legal profession, it's crucial that we approach its adoption thoughtfully and ethically. We need to balance the efficiency gains with the fundamental principles of justice, fairness, and professional responsibility that underpin the legal system.
As we wrap up our discussion on generative AI in legal research, litigation, and compliance management, let's take a moment to consider the future outlook of this technology. What do you see on the horizon?
The future of generative AI in the legal field is undoubtedly promising. As AI technologies continue to advance, we can expect even more sophisticated applications. For instance, we might see AI systems that can participate in legal negotiations or provide real-time advice during court proceedings.
That's fascinating. It sounds like AI could become an even more integral part of legal practice. But I imagine human expertise will still play a crucial role, right?
Absolutely. It's important to remember that AI will likely augment rather than replace human lawyers. The most successful legal professionals and companies will be those who effectively combine human expertise with AI capabilities.
That makes sense. It's about finding the right balance between leveraging AI's efficiency and maintaining the critical thinking and ethical judgment that human lawyers bring to the table.
Exactly. And as we've discussed throughout this podcast, from enhancing legal research to streamlining compliance management, AI is proving to be a powerful tool in the legal arsenal.
Indeed, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've seen how generative AI is transforming legal research, litigation management, compliance, contract analysis, legal writing, and even client communication.
That's right. And while challenges remain, particularly around data privacy, bias, and ethical considerations, the potential benefits for companies and legal professionals are enormous.
It's certainly an exciting time in the legal field. Do you have any final thoughts for our listeners who might be considering implementing AI in their legal practices?
I'd encourage them to stay informed about these technologies and to approach AI adoption thoughtfully. It's crucial to consider both the potential benefits and the ethical implications. And remember, the goal is to use AI as a tool to enhance human expertise, not replace it.
That's great advice. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our discussion. Thank you for sharing your insights on this fascinating topic.
It's been a pleasure. And thank you to our listeners for joining us on this exploration of generative AI in the legal field. We hope you found it informative and thought-provoking.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the exciting world of legal technology.